everybody. Welcome back to the College Town Podcast. My name is Derek DeBerger. With me is Sam Roth.
How we doing, guys?
We, again, had some audio issues when we were recording this, so we don't know exactly what we will have.
We'll find out, though.
Yeah.
But in the meantime?
Either we'll have a full episode with terrible audio on my part, or we'll have a mini episode with audio.
It'll be fun to find out. We'll figure it out, though.
We'll see what works, but we talked about college basketball.
Absolutely.
Caitlin
Clark declaring for the draft, as well as breaking the scoring record of Pistol Pete.
Mm-hmm. We talked about we talked about swimming and diving in this one. ACC, the champion for the ACC swimming and diving tournament was dethroned.
Yep.
Because of a stupid disqualification. We talked about that.
And conference play has started for both women and men's basketball, and we gave our
championship.
Yeah, my bad. Conference tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we give our picks for some of the tournaments that have already started for the men, as well as the top 6 for women.
Yep. So we'll see if that stands.
And then also at the end of the episode, we do our weekly pick'ems. Got a lot of them this week. It's a big week in men's basketball. So please feel free to participate on our community page, and don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.
All right. We'll maybe see you in there. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this mini episode of the College Town Podcast. Because my audio didn't work, because my computer is old and terrible. I'm going to straighten this out.
Old and decrepit.
We're probably just going to hit a few topics.
Let's give it a go.
Yeah, of course, the biggest one is
Caitlin Clark, man oh man, beating Pete Maravich's record for all-time leading scorer in college basketball. Very impressive. Also declared that she was going into the WNBA draft before this game. I think she just wanted a true senior night, too, to cap it off and everything.
Yeah. Which, I think it makes sense. It's a good decision. She's going to get the name, image, and likeness stuff in.
Oh, yeah, she'll get. I didn't even think about that, yeah, because I was like, she'll come back. But no, she'll get the salary plus whatever else endorsement she is, because she is.
What would have been the most financially profitable avenue is if she transferred out of Iowa. Who's going to give me the biggest dollar sign?
And the other big thing is that ever since she announced that she was going into the NBA, the Indiana Fever saw a massive increase in their season ticket sales. So it seems like she's going to be teaming up with Aaliyah Boston up there in Indiana. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best player of all time.
All right, absolutely.
I don't think it's a debate.
Not at this point or anymore. Also, in women's basketball news, while we're talking about it, Davidson canceled the remainder of their season. You got to admit, show your flowers where it's due. You were right on this being a thing where they've been canceling games. It's kind of unfortunate. It's like the fourth team that have to cancel games and forfeit.
Yeah, they were 18-8 on the season, but before they canceled games, they were 8-8 in conference.
Mm-hmm.
So they were not a very good team. They were absolutely floundering down the stretch. They probably would not have made any tournament.
Right.
So,
yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah, NCAA's got to do something
Mm-hmm.
to try and limit this. Some sort of investigation into these events, because you can't not let someone forfeit games if they're just too injured to play.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there needs to be a show that there was an actual effort to become eligible for games.
Right.
Instead of we're playing South Carolina. Yeah, we're hurt.
Yeah.
we're hurt.
Man.
Everyone's got the Cuban fever or whatever. Havana fever. That's what it's called. You ever heard of Havana fever?
I have not, but I'll take your word for it.
It's a crazy one.
Is it now?
Yeah.
And then another thing that the NCAA probably should be investigating is in the 2024 ACC Swimming and Diving Championships of men's 1,650 yards freestyle. I assume that's just like a mile or something close to it. Owen Lloyd, the winner of the event, was disqualified after crossing over into an opponent's lane while swimmers are swimming. Now, that's what the headline says. Once you break down this actual news story, you realize that the race, he completed the race. His teammate in the lane next to him completed the race as well. As the swimmer does to celebrate their victory, he got up on the lane divider and then proceeded to go over and fall over into his teammate's lane. The issue with all this, though, is that even though both swimmers were done with their race, the race wasn't completed because other swimmers were still swimming, because that's how dominant he won the race.
And his teammate, too.
Yeah.
They both just blew everyone else.
Right.
They blew everyone else out.
And it was a ridiculous rule and a ridiculous ruling. I understand why the rule is in place, but I absolutely hate it.
Yeah. It was bad. It was really terrible.
What's awesome?
There's a video of it on YouTube if you want to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot of traction.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then what's also crazy is former Texas Tech Red Raider and NFL draft prospect Tyler Owen, who had a really good broad jump at the combine and set the second largest all time while he's at it. He doesn't believe in space or other planets. He describes the flat earth theory that he believes as, quote, interesting, and had some valid points.
Yeah, I don't think he was taking his classes. I think that's the good old... I think he probably majored in Swahili.
Swahili?
Yeah. I mean, he got about as good an education at that as if you were to go to UNC.
Oh, man. But, yeah.
Notably, UNC is not the best academic school.
If you want some phantom classes, it's pretty good at that.
Yeah. I believe they call them paper classes.
Oh, is that what they were called?
Yeah.
Yeah, same difference.
All right.
Do you want to get into some games, some highlights that you've thought about this week?
You know, I'm going to say it. I told you so. I told you weeks ago that Gonzaga would beat St. Mary's at St. Mary's.
Oh, whatever.
And they won by 13.
St. Mary's was injured. They had 2 guys out.
They won by 13. They were up by like 16 at some points.
Oh.
You know, they owned that game.
Fair enough.
From start to finish.
They did. Another team that got owned this week was Kansas. Kansas got owned by Baylor and by BYU. 2 upsets, if you will. Also, a good week in the SEC for Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee find their way to beat the other top 2 teams in the division in
Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah.
Proved that the Sunshine State is theirs.
Absolutely.
It's not the Sunshine State, by the way.
I don't care. I'm just rolling with the punches at this point.
Yeah. It's Tennessee, I think they're...
Are they a 1 seed?
Yes, right now, yes.
Over Arizona?
Yes, absolutely. But where do you rank them as far as, like, do they stand with Purdue, UConn, and Houston, or do you think they're a step below them?
At this moment in time, I think they're a step. I think Purdue, UConn, and Houston have separated themselves from the pack. I would say Tennessee's right there with, I would throw them with that Arizona, Tennessee.
They are Tennessee.
Throwing the group together. I'm thinking on the fly here. Marquette? Yeah, I would argue Creighton's better than Marquette right now, just because of injuries. I would also say, I'm trying to think. Maybe Iowa State.
Oh yeah, Iowa State is very good.
Iowa State's there too. Yeah, I would say that's the next tier.
Yeah, I definitely do think. I mean, everyone said all year long, like, oh, it's the 3 teams or the top 2 teams and everyone else. But then I think Houston, they are winning a lot of games. And I think the reason everyone said, like, oh, you know, Houston's not one of the top teams with UConn and Purdue is because they lost like 3 games in pretty quick succession.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they lost 2 in a row to start conference play, and then they got blown out by Kansas at home, or at Kansas. And so everyone was like, you know, they're not up to par. But like Purdue doesn't play in the Big Ten. Big Ten's not competitive this year. It's Purdue and everyone else.
It is. It really is.
UConn is very, very good, but it's a lot of bubble teams outside of
Creighton. But to be fair, both are, in my opinion, Sweet 16 teams at the moment. I don't think that's a hot take at the moment.
We'll see
how unfolds, yeah, but
no, I just think Houston is fantastic. They of course have a great defense, like always under Kelvin Sampson, and just now they've got the offense. They've got Jamal Shead. forgot LJ Cryer. They're very, very good.
Yeah. Mm.
All right.
Be interesting. Want to do our picks for the tournament?
Do you want to do the men's or you just want to do women's? Because these are kind of lower level.
I mean, I will say this. Go and watch the lower level brackets of men's college basketball because it is good basketball to a certain extent.
Oh,
And
yeah.
every game is like their life is on the line, basically.
It's because
It is.
yeah, it's because basically there's 1 week that matters if you are in a mid-major conference,
And
and
some of
that's
them
the conference tournament.
and some of them start tonight as we're recording them.
Yes, um, and so those games are, they're bloodbaths sometimes because it's you either win and get yourself closer to the tournament, or
Your season's over, right?
maybe
Winning
you go
in.
to an NIT. Maybe you'll
No,
go to like
maybe.
what is it, CAIA?
I don't know that.
That's like the third tournament.
There's a third tournament.
Yeah,
Oh, the more you know.
it's a bad tournament. But
Okay.
the NIT is at least watchable.
Oh yeah, it is.
But no, the CAIA is not good. But no, these smaller conference tournaments are very fun to watch. I always really like watching the Ivy League tournament. I think the reason I like watching the Ivy League so much is because their conference championship game is on Sunday,
Oh, it's
and most like for conference tournament week, most wrap up by Saturday, but theirs has always been on Sunday.
theirs is like the second to last, if not the last one this year for the qualifying bid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I want to say like their game tips off at like 1 or 3, and the selection committee is like at 6. So like it's literally one of the last games.
And then here's the dirty little secret: those Sunday games, the day of Selection Sunday, they do not matter. They do not matter. Selection committee picks it beforehand. They'll give themselves like an out, like last year. You know, Purdue almost lost to Penn State
Mm-hmm.
in the Big Ten tournament, the Big Ten championship game, but that was on Sunday, and it didn't affect anything.
Right.
Um, Purdue ended up being a 1 seed. They put Penn State in the tournament anyway. They make sure that they don't have to watch the games on Sunday if they don't want to. Those games mean nothing. They're still fun to watch because there's not a lot of games on that Sunday. And so I've always watched the Ivy League championship when I can. It's really fun. It's a really fun one.
Gotcha.
But I guess we will do the women's though real quick because the regular season has wrapped up for the women, that side of the sport. And now they are starting their conference tournaments.
They are.
So we are just going to do the Power Six real quick. We're going to pick our winners.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to start off with the ACC because it's alphabetical. That one's first. Picking Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
I just like they have the 2 best players
Do
in the conference.
do they? I don't know. I feel like that Hannah girl from
Hannah Hidalgo.
she's very good from Notre Dame. I rate her very highly.
No, she's great.
But Georgia Amore and Elizabeth Kithley are extremely good. Yeah, give me Virginia Tech.
Yeah, they're coming off 2 losses, but I think they're too good. They're too good, and also it's a home game.
To give you an idea, they came off of 2 losses and they still won the outright for the regular season.
Yes. But I mean, it's a home game down there for Virginia Tech because Elizabeth Kittley is from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Literally, all her family and friends show up to the games because she's from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of an unfair advantage. Oh well, boo hoo. What are you gonna do? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But next up, we have the Big 12, which, interestingly enough, Oklahoma is the number 1 seed in that conference.
Which is kind of surprising. I didn't realize that.
They're good. They are good.
I mean, they got some quality teams between.
They have some players. What I meant to say.
No, I mean like Big 12's got some quality teams. Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas State, West Virginia. I think are all very good teams this year.
West Virginia is a team that really, really presses. They're very aggressive on defense. That's the kind of formula sometimes where you can pull off some upsets in tournaments. And so don't be shocked if any number of teams win this. Kansas is playing really well recently. I know they're only 18-11 right now, but they have really picked it up down the stretch.
Mm-hmm. I'm going with Texas. I mean, like, Texas seems like the team to be at this moment. Kansas State was hot at the start of the season. They were borderline in that 1-2 seed, and they really just fallen recently. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Something about picking Texas feels wrong, but I don't know
It
what.
does.
But picking
Here we
Texas.
are on.
Next, we have one of two that are not even competitive in my minds. The Big East.
Welcome to the Big East, where UConn runs the show.
Yeah, like it's not. It's not even.
It's not even close.
They're undefeated in conference. It's the 16th time in the last 25 seasons that UConn has been undefeated in their conference.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to lose now.
Mm-mm.
So, give us the Huskies. Next up, we have the Big Ten. I think top to bottom, the Big Ten is not that good. And honestly,
3 elite teams, I would say.
I'm not even that high on Indiana.
Indiana's like top 15, in my opinion.
I think they've got two really good teams, and then they've got, Indiana's a tier below them. I like Michigan State. Nebraska's not bad. Penn State's not bad. But it's like, they're not that good.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very top heavy in the Big Ten. The one seed is actually Ohio State. I'm going to go with Iowa, though. I'm going to go with Iowa. I think there's just going to be. Caitlin Clark is the most popular college athlete right now.
Right. I don't know.
It's going to be a home game for Iowa.
Ohio State's just going to figure out a way to get it done, as well as Iowa just had their starting point guard injured, so I'm interested to see what happens there.
Yeah,
Did not look good.
Teams have been able to somewhat successfully slow down Caitlin Clark
Right.
towards the end of the year, so there is something there. There's something to be said for that.
But I'm going Ohio State. I think there's a reason why they were able to win games and also beat Iowa at Ohio State.
Yeah, it could go either way. And then I guess technically Indiana.
Next is the Pac-12.
Yeah, Pac-12, the final year of existence for the Pac-12. Stanford is your one seed.
It is funny. Last year of the Pac-12, both really good in women's basketball all of a sudden and really good in football.
Yeah, awful in men's basketball.
Yep.
Terrible.
Like, there are going to be like 2 teams that get in.
Yep. Maybe 3 if Colorado gets in.
Colorado, Utah, and Arizona.
Utah's not good.
Then who's the other team?
Washington State.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about them. Sorry about that.
All right. Anyway. Yeah, this feels.
It's very good depth.
It's very good. Like,
there's 6 teams that could win this.
The teams that are, I agree with him. It feels like there are 6 teams that can win. That being said, Arizona, they are a well-coached team. I don't think they have very good talent, but they could pull off some upsets. Washington State won it last year, which is kind of crazy. California, they're solid. Washington has a very good defense. And those are not the top 6 teams. Like, those are just good teams that
Right.
are still in this.
And then you got basically UCLA, Stanford, and Colorado, all teams that were flirting with a 1 seed at one point in this season.
Yeah, but Colorado's lost 5 of the last 6.
Colorado started off real strong out of the gates and then has fallen off. Then you got teams like UCLA and USC who have come on very strong. We were not expecting the emergence of Juju Watkins at USC, and then you got Oregon State, who comes out of nowhere, who was projected to finish almost, I believe, dead last in the Pac-12, and here they are, probably going to be hosting a tournament games in the tournament. I think they could be a top 16 seed. With all that being said, and then Utah, historically, preseason wise, was expected to be very good. They have one of the best bigs in the nation with what's her name? Filey? Yeah, I can visualize it. I just can't say it. With all that being said, unfortunately, I'm just going to stick with Tara Vanderveer and go with Stanford.
I'm going with USC. I like Juju Watkins.
She's so good.
I like their coach. They're similar to Iowa to me in the sense that it's the Juju Watkins show, and then they've got good players around her.
Mm-hmm.
Like great players.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing with Iowa. I think Caitlin Clark is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's good players around her.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the USC. My pick for that one for the final year of the Pac-12, and then of course we're gonna end it off with Another not very fun one. The SEC, the only team that has not lost a game.
I mean, it's a good conference.
It is a good conference, but like, I'm picking South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And it's kind of crazy this year with South Carolina. It's like last couple of years, at least when they were been at least very dominant, they at least had like top picks expected within them or something along those lines.
like a number one overall.
Well, I mean, like Cardosa, I think is projected first round, but she's like projected like late first round. She's projected like a 10th round, 10th overall pick. Like they don't really have like the number one go to like this person's gonna lead us to glory like Iowa does or something like that. It's just a good team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just well coached. It's well everything, which is what I think is more impressive.
Yeah, and it's also what is so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
I mean, it's South Carolina all the way, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going with the Gamecocks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think there's anyone that could beat them in the conference tournament. So
No.
that's our picks for women's conference tournament games. Next, we're gonna do our pick'ems to wrap up this very short episode.
Yes.
The pod, and we're gonna start out with Purdue at Illinois.
Yeah, I've got Purdue. I think Purdue is just obviously the best team in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah.
Illinois, obviously, the second best, but there's a clear gap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. It's Purdue and everybody else in the Big Ten. I just don't think the Big Ten is good this year.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Alabama at Florida. Close game. Last time went into overtime at Alabama, but Alabama pulled away late in overtime.
Yeah, I've got Florida in this one.
I'm gonna take Alabama just cause like they're similar teams, and I just think like style of play wise, they just want to outscore you. And I think Alabama does it better.
Yeah.
Just why I'm picking Alabama. So next up, we have San Diego State versus UNLV. UNLV is hot. They're hot. They just keep winning.
Are they?
17-10
Smoke
now.
show.
Yeah, and that's right. I've got the Rebels in this one.
Yeah. No, give me the Aztecs in this one.
Why not?
No.
Get them some dancing lessons. Right?
No.
They're
They're
gonna be out on the town.
they're in Vegas. They can do
It
what they
is
want.
March.
Yeah.
It is March. Anyway, next we got Boise State versus Nevada.
Forgive my co-star here. He just took a bump of cocaine there for a second.
Next up, we have Boise State and Nevada. I got Boise State in this one.
I'm going to go with Nevada. I think they got a really good guard play.
All right. Next up, we have Villanova, Seton Hall. Two bubble teams. This is an interesting one.
This is a fun one.
Really want to win here. I'm taking Villanova.
This is hairs. It's hard to pick one. I'm going to go Seton Hall just for difference, but I think it'll be a close game.
All right. Then we have Tennessee and South Carolina. South Carolina got the best of them last time at Tennessee.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I just don't think that Tennessee was expecting it. I think they were overlooking South Carolina a little bit. I think Tennessee has the better talent.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to win.
I'm going with Tennessee as well. I think there's a clear separation between them and the rest of the SEC at this moment.
All right, next up we have Northwestern versus Michigan State.
I would have gone with the Wildcats in this one if it wasn't for their injuries. Because of that, I'm going to go with Spartan here and go with Michigan State. But I also think like Michigan State just isn't playing great ball either.
They lost 4 straight.
I think both of them have just been met at the wrong time. If this was a healthy game, I think it'd be interesting. But
yeah, Michigan State has lost 4 straight when they were already like on the bubble.
mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, I'm picking Michigan State here just because, I guess. But I really
Just because.
Ultimately, I think Michigan State's going to get in the tournament. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to put them in there, unless they lose to Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Be a terrible, unforgivable loss. Sorry, Hoosiers. But yeah, I think they're putting Michigan State in the tournament. No matter what.
Gotcha.
All right, next we have BYU versus Iowa State. At Hilton. That's all you need to know.
I mean, yeah, more or less. Iowa State, dominant defense, really good team overall. BYU, very good 3-point shooting team, but I still think Iowa State finds a way to get this one done.
Next up, we have Marquette. We have UConn at Marquette.
I gotta go with the UConn here. I mean, UConn just is so dominant. The clear, very, very good team in the Big East. I think there's a clear separation between them and Creighton and Marquette.
I'm going with Marquette. Assuming Tyler Kolek is healthy. But
Right.
I'm going with Marquette. I think they're going to get the win at home. UConn has not won a road top 25 game in 10 years.
That is correct. I forgot about that stat. Yeah.
Golden Marquette. Next up, we have Boise State at San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Aztecs here. I think both teams are going to split the week.
Mm-hmm.
I like both teams. I just think at home, San Diego State's going to get it.
I like the Aztecs here as well. Give me San Diego State.
All right, this is a game that was supposed to be good. Now it's not as good.
No, it's not.
Memphis versus FAU.
Yeah, one bubble team and one team that is abysmal. So give me the bubble team in FAU.
Yeah, I'm taking FAU as well. Yeah, no, it's really
Yeah.
simple as that.
I mean, yeah.
All right, next we have Oklahoma at Texas.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, Oklahoma at Texas.
Don't do that to me.
They don't even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, no, give me Texas. It's at Texas. I think the home court advantage is going to help them out here.
Yeah, give me Texas too.
Okay, South Carolina at Mississippi State.
Way to save that one there. Give me South Carolina here.
Yeah, give me South Carolina. Kansas versus Houston.
Oh, there's a dog there. Give me the dog in Houston.
Yeah, no, I mean, really, they're big cats, the Cougars.
Yeah, but they got the dog in them. Houston's just so good.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Houston.
Mm-hmm.
At home, I think they're going to get revenge on Kansas. Kansas is lost 2 straight. The most losses in conference that Bill Self has ever had since being at Kansas.
Really? Was he at like 8, 7?
7. 7 losses.
How about that?
Now we've got Kentucky versus Tennessee at Tennessee.
There's a more talented team here, and then there's a better team here. Give me the better team in Tennessee.
Yeah, I just think great offense versus great defense. Tennessee's offense is better than Kentucky's defense.
Well, there is no defense.
That's the point. Yeah.
I mean,
Tennessee is more balanced, and that's why they will win.
I mean, yeah.
All right, Baylor at Texas Tech. I think this is a tricky one. I think Texas Tech could easily win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Baylor's the better team, so I'm going to go with Baylor.
All right, I'm right there with you. I'm going with Baylor too. Baylor has been surprisingly good. They played Houston very close recently. Also had a good win over Kansas.
Yeah.
So.
All right, next we have Clemson versus Wake Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest is on a bad slide when they really couldn't afford to be. They lost every game last week. Clemson, they're in the field right now.
They are.
What people are saying. The experts,
if you will.
Joey Brackets. I'm taking Wake Forest.
Also, yeah, I'm going with Wake Forest too. Also, what I learned is with the bracket, it's not what he thinks is going to happen. It's what he thinks the committee will do.
Yeah, that's the same thing.
No, it's not.
What he thinks will happen versus what he thinks the committee will do?
No, it's not his opinion. It's what he thinks.
But that's not what you said.
My apologies. My bad.
No, and I know that too. I just think he's bad at predicting what the committee will do.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
New Mexico
versus Utah State. Utah State is very much being overlooked.
They are.
Yeah, which by the way, in the original recording of this, I complained about him giving me New Mexico, and then he gave me a new adopted team.
Which I guess they're not on the pick'ems this week. Yeah, you got Creighton. Yeah, Creighton is your new team.
So
You're
go Jayhawks, I think. Is what they are. Are they Jayhawks?
Yeah, Blue Jays. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. J is in the name.
They're blue something.
Fighting Jay Wrights.
That's a coach.
I'm going with Utah State.
I went with Utah State initially, but no, I want Pitino in the tournament, so give me Pitino. You never were, never have to be. I haven't picked Bama. I mean, I just picked Florida over Bama.
All right, next we have UNC versus Duke.
Yep.
Game of the week, probably. It will definitely be the most viewed game.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Cheapest ticket to get in right now is $1.2K. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So give me Duke.
Yeah, I'm taking Duke too. I just think they're playing well right now. I like UNC's long-term prospects, their tournament run prospects.
Yeah.
Much better than Duke, but this one game, give me Duke. It's that game.
There you go.
All right. Let's hope this worked.
Wraps up the sweet and condensed version of this podcast. Yeah. If you made it this far, please feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one, guys.